Hi everyone, my name is Corey Burke, and this is my final project for CS50's Introduction to Programming Python. It's called US City Economic Data Tool. It is a Python program that fetches real economic data for US cities, generates a text report, and can create simple visualization. Okay, so let me start with a quick demo. I'll run my Python project.py and enter a simple city like Seattle. It asks for user input of a city, a state, and a number of people in the household. The program validates the input and pulls together key economic indicators for that city and saves formatted a report to a text file so it's easy to review or share. At this point, it'll ask me if I want to view a city map. And if I do, then I save those files to a maps CSV, and it'll return to me a pinned map of the city, such as this. I have a backup default that gives you a Google Maps link if you can't access that. Okay, so I have three main files: my project.py file, my data module file, and my visualization, which is the maps file. So I'm going to start with my data module, which contains most of the core logic for gathering and organizing city data. At the top, I define some defaults, including a mapping of state FIPS codes and table of each state's default minimum wages. These give the rest of the code consistent reference values to work with. Next is the get city minimum wage. This function looks up the correct minimum wage for a city based on a state and falls back to a reasonable default if specific data is missing. Then I'll show you my class with citations. I defined a city info class, which represents all the economic information for a single city, things like population, unemployment, income, and minimum wage. I also wrote a with citations helper that attaches source information to the data so the report can show not just the values, but where they came from. I use a decorator and wrapper around the report building method. The decorator handles tasks like adding citations or shared formatting, while the underline method focuses only on the actual city data. Below that are the three API-related functions. Each one talks to a different external service, pulls a specific piece of data, and returns it in a clean Python-friendly format for the city info to use. Once all of that is in place, the main script, project.py, ties everything together. I'll switch to that file and show how the command line interfaces uses city info and these helpers to run the full city report. Now I'll show you the project.py file, which is the main entry point of the program. It's the file that I run from the command line to tie everything together. At the top, I import my modules and define main, which prompts the user for a city and state and validates that input. Once the input is valid, project.py creates a city info object from the data module, which handles all the API calls and data processing. Finally, the script calls the method that generates a text report, and if requested, it also calls a visualization function to save simple chart or map engines to that city, for that city. Last thing I want to say is thank you, Mr. Malin, and thank you, edX, and thank you, Harvard.